Grant here from First Time Physical Therapy. What I want to share with you today are a couple things I do before each ride to make sure that I've got some core stability working for me to reduce my low back and pelvic pain. And then also we're going to do something to take care of a dreaded cyclist neck. So we're going to strengthen the front of the neck, okay? So I've got this band here just to illustrate the property of getting that neutral low back. So if you have a belt or a yoga strap at home, that'd be just as fine. So we're going to lay down flat on your back. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do it wrong. So we're going to arch the low back off the ground. And you'll notice I can take this strap straight through the other side. All right? So what that's showing is I've got nothing supporting my low back in that arch. Now I'm going to use my low abs to put pressure on this band. You want to position the band 1 inch above your sacrum. Okay, so just somewhere around your low back. Now I've got that pressure. I'm tugging really hard. I can't get that band out of there. Okay, so what we're going to try are some exercises that are going to challenge that core connection. So easiest one first is we're going to bend the knees. Okay. And I've got my pressure on my belt, and I'm going to lift one knee and not let, if I let my back pop out, I'm not learning anything new. I'm not teaching my body anything new, okay? So you have to keep the connection of your core, and you have to keep the pressure on the ground with your low back as you alternate knees. You want to make sure that you're not tightening down so hard that you can't breathe. You need to make sure you're able to breathe. So once you've got that connection, make it harder by reaching your arms back. Okay? So what you should feel is the low abs feeling engaged. You're still able to breathe. You're able to move without this sort of back motion as well. So the next level up is we start with both knees up. So for some of you, this alone is going to be enough of a challenge that strap is going to be able to be pulled out. So get your connection. This might be good enough for you to stay here. If you're ready to move on, get your connection, test it with your belt, or have a partner come by and try to put their fingers underneath your back and hold them there. Then we're going to lower 1 foot down. 1 foot down. So maybe try to get 3 to 5 on each side. And so if you lift up even a little bit, you're losing that connection, okay? Because that's what we're doing when we're running and cycling, is we're changing position all the time, and we need to support the spine. So it's like my friend Michael Sylvester says, if you've got a powerful engine, but you've got loose engine mounts, all that power is just going to flip your car right over. So if you're trying to put down all your power on the bicycle, but you've got a wiggly core and your spine is not supported, you're just flailing around. You got to make sure that you're cycling efficiently, and that requires good core coordination. Okay? So if you're still on board now, we get to retest your connection with the ground, with your back, and then here we go. We're breathing, we're keeping our connection, we're lowering both knees at the same time. So if you can notice how I'm trembling here, this is right at the edge of my level of control. Okay, I'm having trouble breathing, having trouble speaking, right? So if I get lazy, boop, okay? So that's what we're looking for. When you find that exercise that's right at that border of what you're able to control, that's what you want to practice, 5-10 minutes before you get on a bike, so that you're aware of what you have to do with your core. So for those of you who are more advanced than I am, I'll show you what that's like. You're going to start with your legs straight up, arms back. And then you're going to lower one leg until you start to feel that
that connection get lost, okay? And if you try this, and if you're being honest with yourself, you need to stop where you start to feel the tension increase in your legs. You don't want to try to blow past this with more muscle effort, okay? And then for those of you who are Olympic level, you're going to go both legs. So if I'm testing myself or I'm testing a patient in the clinic for core control, basically that's my level right there. So from 0 degrees, somewhere around 40 or 45 degrees, that's where I'm at now. So what we're working on is getting all the way to the floor without arching the low back. Okay? So try this a couple minutes before each ride, and it should have a noticeable improvement for your transfer of power down into the bike. And then if you are having low back pain, this could be a good one. But as always, when pain is involved, do see a physical therapist or a doctor close to you to make sure that you're doing everything safe. And if one leg, if you're doing a good job controlling that, and that's easy, one leg is easy, okay? But if 2 legs is just too hard, okay, then here's something that you can do. So you lower one leg, and then you see if you can lower the other one like halfway. And then in order to come back up, you can bend the other leg back up, try it again. Is that the gist of it?
I have people.
If you're in between one leg and 2 legs, being able to control it, what you do is you lower one leg, you bring the other leg to meet it, and then you bring that leg back up, you bring the other leg back up. So, one more time. Right leg down, left leg down, left leg back up, right leg back up. And again, if you're feeling it in your core, in the front, you're good. If you're feeling any low back tightness, step it down a level and just practice there more. Okay? Thank you. So, cyclist neck, we have a problem because what tends to happen is when we're riding that bike, we're in our tuck, but then we look forward by craning the neck up. So that makes these muscles in the front of the neck very weak and stretched out, and it's not a good look as you get older, okay? So I'll show you how to take care of that. And so what we're going to be doing, we're going to be making some double chins in order to get rid of the double chin later on, okay? So how to do that is you lay down, legs straight on the ground, arms back. If this is too much on your shoulders, bend your elbows. But that's a good test on your shoulder mobility. If you can't comfortably get your arms down, you got some work to do. So now, back to the neck. What we're doing is we are getting that back flat against the ground, and we're bringing the chin, we're tipping the chin towards the chest, and then we're lifting the head just high enough that the head's off the ground, but the hair is still in contact with the ground. And then we're holding for 10 seconds, and then we're taking a rest. So if you're just starting this exercise, start with 10 seconds, and then work your way up to like a minute. And what we're looking for are these muscles directly underneath the bottom jaw. They call them maxilla, or above the Adam's apple, okay? If you're feeling any pain in the back of the neck, that's probably indicating that you're using your SCMs, these big sausage muscles, and that's not good. That's not what we want to use. So if that's the case, then you just have to tuck your chin towards your chest more and lift up, okay? And if you lift too high, then you're just using different muscles in your chest. So you're just lifting up a little bit, okay? So how this is going to relate to the cycling posture is, so we're in our tuck, and instead of just tipping the chin forward to look forward, we're going to be able to engage those neck muscles, get along the back of the neck, and we're still able to look forward out through the top of our glasses, and we're supporting the back of the neck. So try this. If you have any neck pain, see a physical therapist that knows how to deal with cyclists or your particular sport. And come see us and ask us questions. And thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.
We're looking at two aspects that are important for all athletes, but especially cyclists, because we tend to be very tight in our trunk and in our shoulders, because we might think that we're in one position, but really we need to be able to have freedom in different parts of the shoulder and different parts of the low back and pelvis in order to make different shapes, and also to age gracefully and make sure that our cycling habit doesn't inhibit us from being able to mow the lawn and help our friends move house. So first things first, we're looking at a pelvic tilt. So we are using the low abs to curl the tailbone down and forward, and then we're doing the opposite. We are using the low abs to reach the tailbone back and up towards the ceiling. And so it is a subtle motion. Some people are a lot more mobile, and they're going to have, when you see them move, they're going to have a lot more motion here in this aspect. What we don't want to practice is just hyperextending the back and then rounding in, okay? So if you're used to doing a typical cat-cow in a yoga class, that's cool. Just try to do a little bit of this first before you go into your full cat, okay? Because what we're doing, we're moving more from here, okay, where the pelvis meets the hip and where the sacrum and tailbone are interacting with each other, instead of just these big spinal motions. So this is level 1, okay? So then to kick that up a notch, we're doing that in downward dog. So you can bend your knees a lot to give your hamstrings a break. So you'll notice here, there's less motion. But we have to learn how to move the pelvis on the hips and the tailbone on the sacrum. Okay? And then third layer here is in your plank position. So how can we posterior tilt and anterior tilt the pelvis? So at first, just like me, there might not be much motion, but that's why we've got to practice it. And again, it's not about dumping the pelvis and then doing a big spinal curl. That's not going to do us too much good. Okay? So again, we've got hands and knees. We've got down dog. And you notice that as we're moving the pelvis, there's different stresses on the hamstrings and on the abs. So that's what we're trying to learn here. And then the third layer is in plank. Okay? So that's lumbo-pelvic skill. The next thing we're going to learn is back and hands and knees. We're trying to understand how to move the shoulder blades on the back. Okay? So you've got your pelvic tilt, your neutral through here. So if someone puts a glass of wine on your low back, you're not going to spill it. Okay? So we're stable there, and then we're moving the shoulder blades up towards the ears, up towards the ceiling, down towards the tailbone, and then towards the ground. So it's a big circle. Big circle for your shoulders. We're not moving the elbows either, so just keep those elbows straight. And why this is important is if you're only locked down in one position and you don't know how to move your shoulder blades around, this will be the only position you're able to achieve, and that will get stiff. So to do one layer more difficult, we're trying to roll the shoulders in that same pattern in downward dog. So anytime we increase load, just like lifting a heavier weight, it's harder to do the motion. Okay? And then the third layer is in plank. Shoulders up towards the ceiling, down the back, towards the ground, up towards the ears. Okay? And if all that is just too much for you, we can still do it in standing. Okay? So you start with what you can do under control. Right? So when we're going to reach for the handlebars, if we've got the ability to draw the shoulders back and bring the chest forward, then we're not going to collapse our chest. And so we're going to be able to breathe more efficiently and have more power for what we're doing on the bike. So yeah, write us a little comment. If any of these things are difficult for you, see a physical therapist near you or seek us out here. We're in downtown Portland. So thanks for tuning in. See you next time.